When I was growing up, my dad made spaghetti and meatballs every Tuesday night for dinner. My brother and I would jump off of the school bus and race to the front door. Today, I'm going to show you how to make the #1 Italian-American dinner, spaghetti and meatballs, along with my recipe for marinara sauce. Let's get started. Marinara sauce is an Italian tomato-based sauce that originated in Naples. Southern Italy is known for its glorious temperatures, fresh fruits, vegetables, herbs, and seafood. Marinara sauce is known as the simple sauce because that's what it is. A little bit of EVOO, onions, garlic, some fresh tomatoes, and a splash of red wine is really all you need. Occasionally, though, you'll run into a marinara sauce recipe that's actually cooked with seafood in it because seafood is so predominant in Naples. What you won't find is marinara sauce made with meat, which makes it the perfect sauce for restaurants and home cooks to serve to vegetarians. I've put about 6 tablespoons of olive oil in the bottom of a wide bottom skillet. And you really want this to be a wide bottom skillet because what you want when the marinara sauce cooks, you want it to reduce and thicken, and the best method for doing that is putting it in a wide, shallow pan. And I'm just going to add about 1 pound of chopped onions. If you want them finely diced, that's your business. I'm going to add about an ounce and a half of garlic because my family likes it made with garlic. I'm going to add some white pepper, some red pepper, some sea salt, and some sugar. Stir this all together. I like to add my seasonings first to the onions and garlic because that's going to start the basis for seasoning the entire sauce. And I'm just going to let these saute over medium-high heat for about 8 to 10 minutes until the onion is softened and just short of beginning to brown. My onions are softened, my garlic is softened, and nothing has started to brown. And you really want to avoid letting your garlic brown because that will make it bitter. I'm going to glaze the pan with a cup of my favorite red wine. Get up any little bits that are at the bottom of the pan. And red wine is kind of a must in a marinara sauce. Now I'm going to add 4 cans of my favorite brand of crushed tomatoes. You can use whole crushed San Marzanos if you can find them, or in the summertime you can peel and crush your own tomatoes to make marinara sauce. But it's February. This is the rest of 3 other cans. And lastly, I'm going to put about 2 ounces of basil chiffonade over the top. And chiffonade is just a fancy word for cut into little raggy pieces. I'm going to stir it all together, bring it to a nice gentle simmer, and let it continue to cook uncovered for about an hour to an hour and a half until it's all thickened and reduced by just a little bit. And now it's time to make our meatballs. For my meat mixture, I have 2 pounds of ground sirloin and 2 pounds of ground pork tenderloin in a nice big bowl with about 1 large diced onion and 3 or 4 minced garlic cloves. What I've done in my food processor is I've chopped about 1½ sleeves of saltine crackers to process them to crumbs. You can skip this step completely and use already dried breadcrumbs, but I happen to really like the flavor of saltine cracker crumbs just a little bit better. And now what I'm going to add to the work bowl of my food processor are 4 eggs, and any size egg will be okay with this recipe. 1 cup of milk, and my spices are black pepper, Italian seasoning blend, and a little bit of salt. Put the lid back on this. And we're just going to pulse this to form a nice thick paste. This takes about 10 seconds. Take the lid back off. And now I'm going to add a half a cup of Parmigiano Reggiano, the real deal, folks, not the stuff in the can with the green lid. Let's get this lid back on the food processor. Come on now. Okay. Process this again about 5 more seconds. And we've got a really thick paste. Okay. You want to carefully remove the blade from the food processor. This is very sharp. And we're going to add our saltine cracker cheese mixture to our meat mixture. Want to get every yummy, oh, this smells wonderful, the Parmesan cheese. Oh, if the eggs weren't raw, I could eat this myself just the way it is. Now I'm going to do my best to kind of give this a rough stir to incorporate all the ingredients together. Spatula helps, I think, at the best, the beginning of it. And then eventually, the best thing is just to put your impeccably clean hands into it and toss it all around. As soon as I get this thoroughly mixed, I'm going to cover the bowl with plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes to let all of these wonderful flavors marry. My meatballs are out of the refrigerator, and what I'm using is a 1 3/4 inch ice cream scoop to roughly form them into balls. The next step to meatball making is an optional step, but it is an old and authentic Italian one. What the ladies used to do is they'd take these little meatballs and roll them around in some breadcrumbs to give them a coating. What this is going to do when they hit the pan is it's going to give them a little bit of a crust, and it's going to make them golden brown on the outside and moist and juicy on the inside. I've heated a little less than 1/4 inch of oil in the bottom of my electric skillet to 350 degrees. I'm using corn oil today. Feel free to use canola oil, but don't assume that because this is Italian food, you should be cooking with EVOO. The smoke point on that is just all wrong, and your meatballs will burn. So stick to something like corn, canola, or even vegetable oil. All I'm going to do is add all of my meatballs to the pan. And when they're all in, they're going to cook about 3 to 3.5 minutes till they're brown on the bottom. And then I'm going to flip them over and cook them for another 3 to 3.5 minutes. They'll come out, go on a rack in a pan, and they'll be ready to add to our simmering sauce. The meatballs are fried, and I'm just going to drop each one in to the sauce. I'm going to partially cover this pan when I'm done, and I'm going to let them simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes and as long as 20 to 30. And then it's time to eat. Italian immigrants brought their recipes for pasta sauce and meatballs with them to America. In Italian households, Italians never served meatballs with pasta. The meatballs were a course, and the pasta was a course. Spaghetti and meatballs came about in Italian-American restaurants because the chefs needed to please American diners who wanted meat with their pasta. For these and all of my recipes, just go to my website.